Good morning, Higher Hope. This is Tuesday, June 2nd, and just walking through just the scriptures of Genesis and just the story of God and what He's doing in our lives, but also ways to help form our worldview of how we see the world. And I'm still in Genesis 1, verse 1, and it says, "In the beginning, God created." We talked about the time of the beginning, that God was before that. We talked about God, Elohim, His name. We talked about created and his creativity act and his diversity in creation. And this morning I want to talk about that next phrase, in heaven and earth, but it really, he created the heavens and the earth. All right. So there's two sides to it. And obviously the heavens can and do refer to the sky, the stars, the sun, the moon, the clouds, the vastness of what's above us, and all the heavens are there. But it also tells us that he also created a realm that we don't see. He created a spiritual realm, that there is an invisible section of his creation, that he is the only one that's self-existent, and he created angels and Elohim and cherubim and seraphim, and he created these servants to worship and serve him, and that to kind of do incredible things throughout the history of our world. And so he created this spiritual realm. And when he first created the spiritual realm, it was all functioning well, and everything was really just beautiful, and the worship was beautiful, and the way that they just worked together was amazing. And then we have this story of Satan, the serpent, the devil, the liar, coming along and just seeing himself as one of the chief angels, which he was, and just his beauty and his glory, and how he wants to be in God's spot. He wants to take over, and so God allows him to choose that, and so he falls from heaven, and he takes a third of the angels with him, and now they become what we call Satan and the demons. And although we see it throughout Scripture, Jesus casts out demons in the New Testament, and we see the implication in the Old Testament of some of those wrestling matches in Daniel and some other places. We don't necessarily always in our life see the spiritual realm. And then, although God created us, He did like He did in the physical realm, the sin has affected that realm, and that realm is waging war right now. And I hope that you can picture that or see that. One verse says in Ephesians 6:12, "For our struggle, our battle, we're fighting for and against, and what our wrestling match with is not against flesh and blood. It's not against people. It's not against those around us. It's against rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." You hear that, heavenly realms, and that in heaven, and in the spiritual places, that there is these rulers and these authorities, these things that have dominion and leadership, and against the power of this, that there's this evil and this invasiveness of sin. And it's not just in our soul, even though it is. It's in here. It's also in this spiritual realm of the war that's taking place. Frank Peretti, I read some of his books early on, and he would really lean in this fiction kind of way into this spiritual realm. And we see other books like Michael Heiser and the Unseen Realm, and this view of what that can look like, or is looking like. And maybe it's good to know in this time of chaos in our world that our struggle is not against flesh and blood. There's a spiritual war playing out, and we can see it. We can see the devastation of it. We can see the division it's trying to cause, and the lies and the struggles, and yet God is sovereign. He is going to bring all things under His control again, and He allows these forces to wage until the times have been set, where He's going to put all things under His leadership, underneath His complete control, until His will is done in every area. But I think we have to be in reality. We have to be thinking and seeing through the lens of that we are in this battle, and it's not just here physically. There is a whole invisible side of our world that we don't know we don't necessarily see in accuracy how it's causing chaos. And there's also the spiritual side of the angels who are ministering spirits who are sent to serve us in a lot of different ways, to be messengers to us possibly, or they show up. In Hebrews it talks about us entertaining angels without even knowing it. And so we have these sent spirits that God uses in heaven to worship Him, but also in these moments when we need some guidance, protection, and that sort of thing. And so we need to look deeper. That He created in the beginning. God created the heavens, and then tomorrow we may talk about the earth.